Activity number 13, number 1. You are given h of x, which is given as ax, and then they should say here a is going to be greater than 0. It passes through the point A, which is going to be minus 2 and 1 all over 9. Yeah? Calculate the value of A. So we're going to say we have 1 all over 9 again, which is going to be equal to A to the power what? Minus 2. Now, remember, you can then say, I can take this 9 to the numerator. Okay? If I take that 9 to the numerator, it says I'm going to have 9 to the power minus 1, which is going to be equal to A to the power what? Minus 2. It's still fine. But now remember, 9 is not a prime, and then we're dealing with exponents. Since 9 is not a prime, you are going to get 9 as a prime base. Ne? If you get 9 as a prime base, it means what this thing is going to be written as 3 to the power of 2 multiplied by what? By minus 1, which is going to be equal to A to the power minus 2. 2 multiplied by minus 1, negative 2. Ne? So you have 3 to the power minus 2, which is going to be equal to A to the power minus 2. If the exponents are equal, if the exponents are equal, it means that the base are also going to be what to be equal. Therefore, our A is going to be equal to what? To 3. So we will give you 1, 2. Number 2, they say, write down the equation of H inverse in the form of y is equal to. So what do we have? We have y, which is going to be equal to 3 to the power of x. Okay? And then it says which we have x, which is going to be equal to 3 to the power of y. Therefore, log 3x is going to be equal to what? 1, 2. Now, this one is a little bit tricky. If you can't see it graphically, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but let's try it. Let's do it algebraical. If we're going to try to do it algebraical, they say write down the coordinates of any points on the graph of the inverse of H. What is going to be a point? Write down the coordinates of any point, So we can have 1 is to 3. No? If we have 1 is to 3, which here we can have 3 is to what is to 1. I got this one here. What did I do? I went here and say, okay, let me put 1 here. I have, remember, what is the equation? The equation says which I have y, which is going to be 3 to the power of x. Okay? If I say y is going to be equal to 3 to the power of 1, x is 1. Okay? When x is 1, what is my y? So when x is 1, my y is what? It's 3. But they don't want a point on f of x. They want a point on what? On the inverse. So it means what is going to be the reverse of this one? It's going to be 3 is to what? Is to 1. Does that make sense? Or you can use this point, the point that is less 0, like 1 is to what? Is to 0. Agree here, you know which any number to the power of 0. No? Any number to the power of 0 is what? Is 1. So you do have a point that says which here you have 0 is to 1. Then I can use 1 is to 0. Yes, what? Which one? Oh, write down the coordinates. But I said any point. So, okay, let's use A then. If we use A, we're going to have 1 over 9 is to minus 2. Yeah, it makes sense. In fact, you need to use the one that is already here. Let's go to number 4. Determine the values of x for which H inverse, I think this one is the inverse, no? Is going to be less or equals to minus 2. Now, Mash, here, it's going to be simple for you if you draw this thing first. Go and draw this thing so that you will see what I'm talking about. Let's go and draw it here. So what do we have? We have 1 which goes with 3. Okay? This is f of x. No? We have 0 and 1. And then Sinabo 1,33, which is going to look something like this. Then. No, they didn't say. I'm saying it's going to be simple. Whatever it is that I'm going to be explaining, it's going to be simple for you if you see it graphical. So let's do the other one. The other one, what do we have? We have it's 3 is to 1. 1 is to 0, and then we go this side. So we have something that looks like this. Okay, sharp. So what is this? This one here, it's H. Okay? This one here is what? It's H inverse. So what do they want? They want H inverse to be less or equals to what? To? They want H inverse to be less or equals to what? To? Minus 2. Yeah, we want it to be less or equals to what? To minus 2. Sharp. Now, what do I mean by that? We are going to take a horizontal line. On a horizontal line, we are going to go to minus 2. And then either you're going to have above minus 2 or you're going to have below minus 2. So this is how we do the question. So we're going to say, let's take a horizontal line. If you take a horizontal line, you're going to have, it's like U minus 2 is the frame of reference. So you go and say, okay, yeah, I have a horizontal line. From this horizontal line, they want us to concentrate on minus 2. That's what they are saying. So we're going to take this thing here and say, let's go to minus 2. And hold it. Why? Okay, let's go to minus 2. Minus 2. All right, yeah. So I go to minus 2. Can you see that again? Here's my minus 2. Now go minus 2. They either want the part here graph which is above minus 2, or they want the part of the graph which is what? Which is below. No? So they want which part? The one which is above or the one which is below? They want the one which is what? Which is below. So you're going to highlight the one which is below. You go and highlight with, okay, this is the one which is below. And then after that, you check with what are the x values that are making that to be possible. What are going to be the x values that are going to make that to be what? To be possible. So in other words, you should know which when y is equal to minus 2, what is going to be x? In other words, that's what they're asking. So you can come and say, which you have log, I think it's log 2, it's 3. It's log 3x, which is going to be equal to what? Minus 2. No? If I want to know equals to, you see here, it's like I'm saying I'm looking for critical values. When this value that I'm looking for here, I'm looking for which when y is equal to minus 2, what is going to be x? When y is equal to minus 2, what is going to be x? That's the question that I'm asking here. Take this thing here to this other side. It says which x is going to be equal to 3 to the power minus 2. Is it fine? And then it says which x is going to be equaling to, it's going to be 1 all over 9. We're still fine, okay? Now, x is 1 all over 9. Should you, when this one here, you have x is 1 all over 9. And then what are the other x values that are making that to be possible? We still have other x values here. We want to write all of them here. What are those x values there? We are going to tell them which starting from x is 0. Yeah? And then x is going to be greater than 0, but x is going to be less or equals to 1 all over 9. Huh? 1 all over 9. So what are going to be the x values that are going to make this thing to satisfy this condition? Our values that are going to make this to satisfy this condition is between 0. So you can also write it this way. X is an element from 0 not included. Why am I not including 0, by the way? It is an asymptote. No? So it's between 0 up until you go to what? To 1 all over 9. Included. 1 all over 9 we include. Yes, because they've included it here. You are wrong because if you say it's less than 1 all over 9, here's the trick. This graph here doesn't go beyond 0. So if whenever you say less than 1 all over 9, you're also counting the negative numbers. Who knows? Yeah, but like if I ask you, like, if I say to you, what is the solution of this thing? You say x is less than 1 all over 9. When I included even the negative numbers, because if you say less than 1 all over 9, if I say minus 50 still applies to less than 1 all over 9, but it's not part of the solution. Because there's no graph here. This side, there's no graph here. So you should tell them it's less than 1 over 9, but it shouldn't go beyond 0. Because if it goes beyond 0, you are no longer having any solutions anymore. Okay. And then I can see Dino doesn't see anything. All right, let's go to the last one. Write down the equation. Write down the equation of f. If f of x is h inverse, so we are going to get h inverse, okay? So I'm going to say which you have h inverse, which is going to be, let's start with h inverse. H inverse is equal to the log of 3x. Okay? Now, what does this mean? It means that x is over 2 or x all over 2. Ne? So you're going to have h inverse x all over 2, which is going to be equal to log 3. Instead of x, what are you going to put now? X all over 2. And then this is going to be f of x. Then f of x is going to be given as the log 3. And then it says, which is going to be x all over 2. Yeah, this is going to be a final answer.